So I hope you watched the mindfulness video last week. 5 tips to get your mindfulness practice jump started, because today we are going to talk about some advanced things you can do to get that mindfulness practice going and progressing and enjoyable. Hey beautiful souls, welcome back to Holistic and Well. This is my space. You know, anywhere I'm sitting is my space. But we're back in the van again, and I actually have the bed showing because last week I had a bunch of crap on the bed. So I'm like, I got to cover that up because that's embarrassing. I'm just trying to get acclimated to what this is going to feel like. I've got my light source going and I've got my energy bank going. So it's feeling pretty good. I'm just so ready and itchy and restless to get out on the road. But I know the universe has timing for me. So I'm just going to sit tight. So, this is a place where we cultivate better health through herbalism, intentional wellness, and self-healing. So, like I said, we are going to talk about some advanced mindfulness practices that you can do that aren't the traditional way of being mindful, which most people is like, But that doesn't have to be what you do all the time. There's some other things that can be more fun. The most important thing to remember is tip 1. It's the ABCs of mindfulness. So you need to have some action, you need to have breath, and you need to be centered as you're doing it. That's the very first thing to remember. So if you're walking, or you are jogging, or you're on a treadmill, whatever you're doing, as long as there's action, there's some breath involved, and there is that centered, where your mind isn't going in 55 directions with kind of like a there's a meme out there where it says that my brain, I think it says a social worker's brain, is like having 55 tabs open on a computer. And I don't know about you, but I can relate, because I'll look up and I'll have 20 tabs open and wonder why my computer's running slow. Like, close some of the tabs down. So that's what we do when anxiety kicks in, is we will have all these things running in the background. So it's important to have your ABCs in place. So tip 2 is going to be something as fun and simple as coloring. Do you remember when you were a kid and you had your big box of crayons, especially at the beginning of the school year? 64 colors, baby. All those tips were all fresh and new. And I don't know about you, but my tab A, you know, I'm putting all the pinks together and all the blues together and all the browns together, because, you know, that's just what type A's do. But the point is coloring is an incredibly easy way to be mindful, because remember, the action is the coloring. You can easily breathe and you can stay centered because you're focusing on what you're coloring. Here's a couple of my favorites. I love mandalas. They are so awesome. A lot of cultural context to mandalas that maybe we'll talk about someday. And this one is just natural wonders. And then you can even print them off the web. These are really cool. They're small. You can easily put them like in a briefcase or your kid's backpack. See, look. Isn't that awesome? I know. That's the nerd in me. See, that's one of them things y'all just don't know.
For all my black and brown followers, this is a young woman of color who does coloring books to promote self-love and black empowerment. Go and check her out.
You guys have to stay tuned. I am working on 25 things that you would never know about me that I'll be posting here pretty soon. And while I'm thinking about it, if you haven't subscribed to the channel, go ahead and hit that subscribe button and that little bell to get those future notifications. Back to our regular scheduled programming. So coloring doesn't have to be with actual coloring crayons. I also use these markers. I have colored pencils. I have twisty crayons. Of course, I can only have so much here in the tiny home on wheels, but I've got these that I can utilize if that's something I feel like I need to do. And I'm sure once I get on the road and I'm more in nature and I'm just kind of vibing with nature, that this is going to be a really great activity for me. And I'm really excited to be able to have the time and the ability to do this. So tip 3 is going to be the 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 tip. So you want to be able to, whenever situation you're in, if it's in nature, if it's in your office, if it's in your bedroom, if it's in your shower, wherever it's at, you're going to do the 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And I know you're like, well, what is that, Wendy? So that's going to be, you're going to look for 5 things that you can see, 4 things that you can touch, 3 is going to be 3 things that you can hear. 2 is going to be 2 things I can smell. And 1 is going to be something I can taste. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. It is such an easy way to get grounded really quickly because you're using all of your senses. That's your action is your senses. You are breathing with it and you are being centered with it. And guess what? Nobody knows you're doing it. Ain't that beautiful? Tip 4 is going to be mindfully eat your food. Now, what does that mean? Okay, so ABCs. The action is eating. You're going to be breathing as you're chewing, and you're going to taste every sensation in your mouth. You're going to feel the texture of what it is. Maybe you count to 25, or maybe you count to 50 as you're chewing. I know that one of the biggies for indigestion is that we gulp our food. Like, we don't chew our food completely because we're in such a hurry. Like, go, 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 go. Our whole culture is that way. So maybe you count to 25 and you try to taste, maybe you're having tacos and you try to taste the cumin, or you try to taste the garlic, or you're trying to taste the tomatoes. Whatever it is you're mindfully eating your food. So you're breathing through that, and you're centered on the flavors, on the sensation in your mouth from your food. And I know it probably sounds a little woo-woo, but just try it. Again, nobody knows you're doing it, so what do you have to lose, right? All right, so tip 5 is going to be find some kind of craft that you enjoy doing, or a hobby. That could be painting, that could be gardening, that could be crocheting. Crocheting is an incredibly relaxing and anti-anxiety activity. First of all, you're using both sides of your body, and you're having to focus on the move of the hook and the yarn interacting with that hook. So it doesn't allow you a lot of mental flexibility to be thinking about what else is going on in the world. So the action is the crocheting, you're getting the breath in, and you're centered and focused on this right here. And so it's really good. So whether it's crocheting, whether it's working with clay, again, gardening, all kinds of stuff. I took up jewelry making probably about maybe 6 or 7 years ago. And actually think I'm going to start putting some stuff on my website. But here's one of my little cutie pies. This is a pink flamingo. Isn't that cute? But I started making jewelry, and then I started having jewelry at my poetry shows when I would have my poetry events. And it was just a really awesome way. And again, I'm hoping that this is something that I can get into. Look at those cute earrings. That I can get back into once this part of my life is complete, meaning getting the van renovated, and getting on the move, because I am ready to get on the move. Let's see, we got a necklace. Yeah, I think I'm going to put some of these on my website. If you like, as you're meditating or as you are doing your activities. Here's another one I made. You can call these prayer beads. You can call these meditation beads. So this was really fun, and I enjoyed these, and I use these, and I just like to look at them. All kinds of crafts and hobbies, but that's the point, is figure out what brings you pleasure, what brings you joy, what you look forward to doing, because you don't want this to be like another task or something else you have to do on your to-do list. You want it to be something that's enjoyable, that you can be centered on it, and you can be 100% focused on that activity, because then you're not being mindful. If you're on autopilot and you're just doing something out of repetition and your mind has still got 52 tabs open, you are not being mindful. I know. I'm the bearer of bad news. But hey, I want you guys to be able to put this practice into a practical use and be able to use it. Because one of the obstacles that a lot of people will say to me is, Wendy, I don't do those kind of things because I'm embarrassed, or it feels awkward, or I don't want people to see I'm doing it. And so these are some ways that you're able to begin practicing your mindfulness without anybody even really knowing it. So that's it for today. That's all I got for you. You know, you can Google mindfulness techniques. There's a ton of stuff out there. I will put some links in the description box for you. I think I have a link for some of those printables that you can just print off and you can color as you want them if you don't want to invest. But I think I might have gotten one of those coloring books at Dollar Tree. So it's minimal investment. And we're coming up on the beginning of the school year, whatever that's going to look like with COVID. So all the school supplies are out right now. So you can get like the really cool Sharpie pencils or Sharpie pens and big packs of colored pencils. And I remember as a kid, that was one of my favorite things to go do, was go school shopping, because you had this list and you had to check everything off and you had this big old backpack full of stuff that first day of school. Man, I don't think kids experience that anymore. I don't even know if they will moving forward. We'll have to see what the world looks like. Anywho, if you like today's content, give me that thumbs up. And again, please subscribe. Share this video with someone you think might be interested or might need to hear what we are talking about today. You could be anywhere in the world, but you are here hanging out with me in Savannah, checking out how to be holistic and well. I'll see you next week. Bye-bye.